Hello, my friends. This is Wendy with loveandstampin.com. I'm glad you're here with me today. I am going to bring up the chat comments on my iPad so I can see any chats that come in. Wow, hopefully I'm live and public here. Oops. Okay. All right. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Please drop in the chat where you're visiting from, how your weather is today. If you're watching this video and there's a little red button up the top that says live, that means you're catching me live. If you are not watching this live, that button will no longer be there, but you can always still leave comments in the chat and I will see them. I do want to say I don't always respond to every single comment, but I certainly take the time to read them and I try my best to respond as much as possible. At the end of this live session, we will have time for chit chat and talk, and I will scroll back through the comments and see if anybody had any questions for me. I personally don't do well with having to read comments and create a project for you at the same time. So just understand and know I'm not ignoring anybody. It's just because I can't walk and chew gum. You get me here. So today I have the secret formula to creating any size diamond easel card you want to create, and that's what we're going to do. But first, I need to just go over a few things with you. Let me get these goodies out of the way momentarily. First and foremost, tomorrow I will be emailing out my new creative inspiration calendar for the month of November. So if you want to make sure to be the very first one to get that, you need to subscribe to my email list. Down below this video, you scroll down into the description area. There is a link that says get my emails. Click on that, sign up, go to your email, confirm the subscription, check your junk and spam folder, and then you will receive emails from me, and I send one of these out for free every single month. So hopefully you already are on that list. If not, get on it before tomorrow when I send this out. Tomorrow is the very last day for a choose a gift promotion. So right now, when you place a $50 order with me or more, you can choose the Amaryllis stamp set, the Summer Shadows dies, or Seasons of Fun stamp set when you place a $50 order using this host code. This ends tomorrow around noon. So please get your order in if you want to take advantage of this. If you've already placed a $50 order and you got one of these, but you want another one, you can do that. You can place another order. We have enough supplies in stock that you can do that and choose another free gift. Last but certainly not least, next week you will be seeing the Eden's Garden supplies come out and be available on November 2nd. We'll talk more about that next week. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. There is new product coming that will be available. We will make a card using these products so that you can see them in their glory. And yeah, that's happening. Okay. So for today's card, we are using the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set, and we have the Detailed Pumpkin dies. Now, if you don't have this set yet, these are great for Thanksgiving. You've got the Thankful for You, Gather Together, If Friends Were You, If Friends Were Pumpkins, I'd Pick You. And we've got all of these great dies that coordinate. It cuts out these guys, which you'll see today. There's a die that cut out each of these. There's some leaves, a die that cuts out this pumpkin, and then this beautiful detailed pumpkin here creates a really beautiful die cut as well. So several die cuts in this set. This is a great bundle to get your hands on. Okay, we're going to use this guy today, and I'm going to set it aside, and we're going to talk about these diamond easel formulas. This is the first, well, it's not the first, it's one of the diamond easel cards I made. Now, I don't want you to get too wrapped up in writing down the measurements because I created you a project sheet for each one of these cards. So there will be a link below this video in the description that has a link to my blog post, which houses the project sheet for this card and for the other card I'm going to show you. And it talks about the secret formula on creating any size diamond easel card. All right, here we go. So this folds up like this and sits up like that. That's the basic diamond easel card, okay? The formula to a diamond easel card I found is even numbers, okay? You can have a 12-inch piece of cardstock because you're gonna score it at 6 inches and you're going to score it at 3 inches, and then you're going to cut away these areas and it will make a square shape here at the point, okay? You cannot do a 10-inch card with a 5-inch score line with a 2.5-inch score line because it will make this area more narrow and pointy and not in a square shape. Now, what does that mean? That doesn't mean you can't make a diamond easel card that way. It simply means that you're going to have to get way more creative with your layering. So these layers, for example, on the front here, which are just, you know, layers put onto the card, are cut as an even square, each piece. So if you make this area that comes to the point more narrow, it's no longer a square shape. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You'll see as we're working through the next card. So I wanted to show you this card. We're not making this card today. It is beautiful, however. I do love it. And it would require a 6 1/4 inch by 6 1/4 inch envelope to fit this in. This card is the inspiration for this little feller. So this little feller here is 4 inches by 4 inches and would fit in an A2 size card. So I tried to make him 4 1/4 inches wide and it wouldn't work because again, it narrowed this area here where we cut off. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Here's the secret formula. Your cardstock has to be an even number by an even number and divisible by an even number, okay? So this cardstock is 4 inches by 8 inches. Both of those numbers are divisible by an even number. So what does that mean? I'm saying you can't do a 10-inch and 5-inch. It won't work because when you score that 5-inch in half, it becomes a half number. Does this make sense to anybody but me? All right, here we go. So we got 4 inches by 8 inches. We're gonna score at 2 inches and 4 inches. See that divisible 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8 type thing, right? Okay, so we're scoring at 2 and 4. Now we're gonna turn our cardstock. And remember, as you're joining, hello my friends that are joining us fresh, brand new off the farm. If you're just joining, please feel free to comment, ask questions. I will check them later. I just can't do it while I'm doing the card. Sorry, I had to walk over to my other desk to get my ruler. Okay, so we've scored at 2, we've scored at 4. We're turning our cardstock, and where we've got our 2-inch score line, we're going to the top of this cardstock, and we're going to make a mark at the 2-inch mark on the ruler, okay? Then we're gonna fold in half, keeping that mark on the top. Bring our trimmer back in, and I'm going to cut from this mark to the first score line. Everybody can see that, hopefully. First mark to the score line. So I'm just lining them up in the track and cutting. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And remember, our paper is folded in half, so we're cutting them at the same time simultaneously, which works out great because it gives you exact on each side. All right, so now we've got our card base. This is our card base. So simple. So what we're going to start with is a square cut at 2.5 by 2.5. And we're going to glue it down right here. And what I like to do is line the points of my square up with the score line. And you can fold this if you want to. If you want to pre-fold it, you can. It doesn't matter for me. I don't care either way. So we're going to turn this over and we're just going to glue below these points, right? Then we know as long as those points are at or below our score line, our glue is only going to be on the bottom, and that's what we want. We only want our glue to be on the bottom. We don't want to glue this part down. Now we're going to open it up. And we're going to, by the way, this is Mary Merlot cardstock. I apologize for not saying that. And this whole piece is going to get glued down. One full piece. Again, lining those points up with these points here on the sides. Okay, now we've got 2 1 3/4 inch squares. And we need to cut them both. So I'm going to take both the squares, stack them together, put them in my paper trimmer, point to point in the track. It's not quite. There we go. That's better. And cut. And we've got all of our little triangles that we need. Okay. So we're going to glue these friends down here on the inside. Now you can get as elaborate or as basic as you want with this. You know, you could cut layers to go right here. This is where I will write my sentiment. So whatever message I want to write out to the recipient will go right here on the inside. So I'm just going to leave that blank because I don't think it's necessary to add a layer. However, if you wanted to add a layer, you could. I did in my other card, which I can show you when I'm done with this one. Okay, and then close it. And we're going to do the same thing on the front. So quiet here in my office. The puppies are sleeping, which is lovely. I can't even tell you how happy I am that they're all asleep right now. The puppy, Skeeter, she is a handful, you guys. She is a busy, busy dog. She likes to be busy and do things and go places, which is great. But sometimes during the day, I'm like, you need to rest. And I have found that my other dog, Truby, the older one, is really lazy. And she's good for, you know, a very short little play session. And she spends most of her day sleeping. And Skeeter does not approve of this. All right, so now we need to do all of our decorating. So there's the basic easel. Let me show you the inside of this one really quick. See here, I layered the Night of Navy and then another piece of white just to give it a little extra something. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with stamping a couple of images. That will need to be die cut. But we're going to color them first. So I'm stamping in Memento Tuxedo black ink. And my go-to coloring is Stampin' Blends markers. I'm going to use watercolor pencils today. I know, don't freak out. Do not be alarmed. No need to call anybody. All right, so I've got Cajun Craze and Pumpkin Pie. And I'm not going to watercolor with these. I'm actually just going to use them like colored pencils. So I'm going to take my Cajun Craze and I'm going to go over the lines of the pumpkins first. And then we'll bring in Pumpkin Pie. So while I'm doing this, I want to explain a few things. Tips that I've learned about pencils. So the biggest tip I've learned about pencils is if you push too hard, they don't do what you want. This is really a difficult concept for me because I have a heavy hand. I tend to want to push really hard. I think it's like that type A personality thing, you know, we're just very intense people. So I have had to learn to move my hand back. That's a key tip. If you hold here, you're going to push harder. If you hold your hand back further, it actually makes it almost impossible to really push down hard. And when you do start pushing down hard, if you're managed to do that with your hand moved back, it's like it hurts. Like it starts to cramp the side of your hand. So it's like a reminder almost, like, hey, back off, sister. Back off the pencil. So that has been a really good tip for me. And the reason you can't push hard with colored pencils of any kind, probably even more so a watercolor type pencil, is because the color there's like wax in these, and the color has to like layer. It has to like layer on top of each other very lovingly. You cannot force it on top of each other, if that makes sense. So if I kept coloring in one area with this Pumpkin Pie pencil and used a light hand, which we're going to do just for fun, we'll do it right here. If I keep coloring in this area over and over, it's going to get darker. See? It's getting darker. But if I push really hard, it will stop being as effective. It is the weirdest phenomenon. I don't know why exactly it's like that. I think it does have something to do with the wax in the pencil. But look, now I've got this nice shade there, shadow, if you will. So I'm going to add that here too, because I've got another little pumpkin resting. Okay. I'm going to go to my next pumpkins, and I'm coloring in a circular motion, just so you know. If you're wondering, I don't know if you can even tell that I'm coloring in a circular motion, but I am. And adding that Cajun Craze in at the beginning was just my way of giving some definition to these pumpkins. Colored pencils are my least favorite coloring medium. Not because I don't think they look beautiful, but because they require patience. And that is something I lack, in case you're wondering. So when you lack something like patience, in my example, I think that you have to be almost in the right mood for something to test that thing that you lack. Yeah? I'm probably not even in that mood today, if I'm being honest. But I wanted to use my colored pencils. So here we are. And I could use them as watercolors if I wanted to, but that's okay. I didn't have to. So now I'm going back over with the Cajun Craze and just kind of darkening those lines a little bit. Isn't that beautiful? Should I zoom in a little maybe? Does that help you guys? Okay. So now I'm going to use, this is soft, no, oh, crushed curry. How did I get crushed curry? So I'm going to use crushed curry. That's an oldie. And I'm going to color here. And there is a link into the current watercolor pencils in the description of the video if you need pencils. They're really, it's a great buy. And of course they match Stampin' Up's cardstocks and things like that. So now this is early espresso, and I'm just going in adding a little bit of dark areas with my early espresso. Okay, oh, my blossom here. I'm just gonna color him orange. You know what, we're gonna do some Cajun craze too. I think I colored him green in the other. Okay, now let's use our old olive to color the leaves. One of my favorite things about coloring is how you could just get lost. I either turn on music or I turn on a TV show that I'm currently binge watching and love or something, and I can sit and I could color for hours. In my upcoming online card class, which will launch on Monday, November's card class, I have an entire coloring video with a hand-colored scene and everything. It's beautiful. It turned out great, and I really am excited for people to experience that. Okay, now we have to die cut these, right? So the deal is, if you were here in one of my previous videos, you know, I'm gonna zoom back out. You know that my handle came off of my Stampin' Cut and Boss machine. It's normal, it happens, it's not a big deal. You can screw it right back on if, in fact, you have the right tool. I still have not been able to find that tool. It's got to be in my office somewhere. And my husband has not been home enough lately, or I should say, where we're able to go through his tools to find the right wrench. So I'm going to have to run this really quick through the baby. The baby. I think it's gonna fit. Yay. So I'm super thankful I have both of these. Come on, you stinker. There we go. This is the Pebble, as I like to call it. The Pebble machine. So make sure you're typing in your comments or your questions for me, because I will be happy to hang out at the end of this video and answer a few questions if you have any. Okay, I need this paper because we have one more. We have to stamp the sentiment. Perfect. Okay, we'll let that sit aside for a minute while we handle this situation. Okay, so your placement of the item you're going to put inside your diamond easel card is important. The further down here you place it, the more your easel is going to tilt back. The higher up you put it, the more it's going to stand up. I prefer it stand up higher. So this is totally a preference thing. If you prefer it laid down more, then do it that way. If you prefer it stick up more, do it that way. Whatever suits your fancy. That's the important thing here. Okay. I'm gonna cut a mini dimensional in half because I need it for this teeny tiny spot at the end, like that. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna place this right here. Still have room here to write a little message. Not a much of a message, but a little one. And then we're gonna add this guy with dimensionals. I know you're thinking, where's that sentiment gonna go? What are you gonna do with that? We're gonna hand cut it out, kids. Yes, we are. Okay, so there's that piece. Now we just have to fussy cut our sentiment. I'll grab my scissors. And then we're gonna go around all the edges here, which is a bit tricky. So this is one of those things where I feel like it's a practice thing. The more you practice at something like this, the better at getting an even edge and it looking good and all of those things. It's a practice thing. It also helps if you try to keep your scissors somewhat steady and move the cardstock around the scissor, if that makes sense. You're kind of moving both, so I kind of hate to say it that way, because truly you are, I can't talk and do this at the same time. Dramatic pause there. Okay. Because clearly you're moving both. So I don't want anybody to watch this and think I have to hold my scissors perfectly still and then just move the cardstock. No, no, no. It's a mutual effort. But the majority of the drive, if that makes sense, is being driven by this hand, maneuvering the cardstock around. And sometimes what I do is I leave areas that are harder to get into for the end. So that I can get my basic shape cut out. Okay, so now this is the, like right here. So I'm gonna go around the tip of this and I'm pulling on the paper, keeping my scissors still. And that's how I get that little guy right there. All right, whew, whew. Yeah, anyone else need a drink? Good Lord. Okay, so now we're going to use dimensional down here at the bottom and some glue up top. So let's talk about our crazy rain really quick. Holy crap, you guys. It rained for like 2 days here. And I'm in Northern California. We got 7.5 inches of rain in 2 days. Right around that area, right around that amount. Unbelievable. Like, I've never in my life witnessed that much rain in California that fast this early in the year. And it was a record breaker. It broke a record from 1880. Can you believe that? Craziness. So that's our finished card. So super simple. And there are 2 free project sheets on my blog for each of these. There's a link below the video. After this video is finished being live, I'll go put the link over there and you'll be able to go there. Don't forget, tomorrow I am emailing out my new creative inspiration calendar for the month of November. And today is the last day that you can take advantage of this deal. Okay, so if you want these, make sure you sign up to get my emails, link in the description of the video. If you want to take advantage of this, place your order at shoploveandstampin.com using this host code, and then we'll send you a thank you email asking you which one you want. If you've already gotten one through this promotion and you want a different one, that's okay too. We can send you more than one for more than one order. Okay, so let's go through comments and questions because I have time while we enjoy our finished cards. Oh, we have somebody visiting from Carmel. I love visiting Carmel. Such a fun place to go. Hello, everyone. Kim, Julie in Oregon, very rainy. Yes, yes, yes. Maryland, Tennessee, sunny and 56 degrees. Houston, Texas, Toronto, South Texas. Good afternoon. Ugly rain and wind for us. Canada. Oh, I'm so glad you love the Creative Inspiration Calendar. Thank you very much. Somebody said we're doing math, Jill. Yes, we did a little math. It didn't break anybody's brain, I hope. Oh, thanks, Izzy. Love the chicken story. Thank you. Denise, I love that you use a T-square. I still use one all the time. I love T-square rulers. Patty is in El Dorado Hills. She's a hop, skip, and a jump away from me. Hello in Canada. Yes, I know there are smart people in the world that taped their wrench to the bottom of their machine. I, however, did not do that, and now I'm in a pickle. Too bad I'm not smarter. Thank you, Francis. Francis says, ask your husband where the Allen wrenches are in the garage. Then use one of the smallest ones. Cute card shared. Thank you for sharing the video. Patty says, it was horrible. Hate the rain and wind. I know we need it, but really that much. Girl, I hear you. Preach it, sister. I was like, this is ridiculous. We're literally getting like 2 months worth of rain in one day. It was crazy. Andy asked, is the wildfire still raging? No. And after our 7.5 inches of rain, I would feel very confident in saying that fire season in California is over and done. And that's a good thing. So there's that. Okay. Some of you are saying you can't wait to do the card and that you love it. I'm so happy you love this. These are the easiest cards to make. And seriously, the formula to it is just even numbers divisible by even numbers. That's how simple it is. Like if it's an even number wide by an even number long, you can make this card any size. I even thought about gluing like 2 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock together somehow and like making it the hinge and making an enormous diamond easel card, because you could do that because it would be 24 inches by 12 inches. So if you try that, please take a picture and email it to me, because how fun would that be? Especially for like a retirement card or a get well card, and sending like a giant card in the mail to somebody that's been signed by a whole bunch of people. I think that would be really fun. Okay, thanks for hanging out with me. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, drop a comment. YouTube lets YouTube know that you like my videos, and it helps me out a ton, more than you know. And I'm super grateful that you're here with me today. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'm gonna go over and update my blog right now so you guys can go print these free project sheets off my blog. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.